여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전.
Hey. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank iMedia for having me here. I mean, this is not something I ever imagined I'd be doing when I was at the agency summit. But I love talking to the crowd. I love talking to brand marketers. We have an incredible 2 days ahead of us. So thank you. I also want to thank the sponsors. I can't stress enough, again, having been a sponsor at other shows, how important it is. How important they are to making this event a reality, to bringing us all together, to really keeping the dialogue going on loyalty, customer loyalty. So just real quick, the video, does anyone know how many views it has as of this morning? 131,700,000 plus views. Does anyone want to take a guess when the video launched on YouTube? And I used the YouTube metrics to confirm this. 2 months ago, July the 12th of this year, and in 2 months it's accumulated 131 million views. The title for that video is actually in Korean. All the lyrics are in Korean, and it's managed to become an internet sensation across the world. I don't know how many of you are aware, but you're going to be seeing a lot more of Psy in that video because he was just signed by Scooter Braun, who you might know also handles Justin Bieber. So get ready, South Korea is going to be taking over. But you know, I think one of the interesting things about that video is really that kind of helps frame the challenge for us as digital marketers. Look at the media landscape when you have a South Korean rapper who has managed to capture the amount of media attention that Psy has managed to garner in the United States. When you do a search for that video, by the way, the first sponsored ad is a Gap video. We only have 300,000 views of that video. So you're competing with a Korean rapper for customer attention. So I think that kind of frames the challenge in a really interesting way. How many of you have seen that video? Let's just see a show of hands. There you go. How many people know what Gangnam Style is? Okay. Well, not that many. Gangnam is actually a suburb of Seoul that's very similar to Beverly Hills, and this is basically a parody of what the lifestyle is like there. So just a little bit of background about myself. I actually, as Marty pointed out, began my career on the publisher side at CNET, and then at Alta Vista, Overture, Yahoo, and Like.com, and then about 4 years ago I got pulled to the other side very willingly to head up digital marketing for The Gap, which I did for about 4 years, doing global digital for all 5 of our brands. And then earlier this year I actually took on a new role where I'm not spending as much time thinking just about media, but really thinking, and I think this is going to be a really fun couple of days, thinking about the customer and how they interact with us in a multi-channel way and how we apply digital technology to that experience. And how do we use customer data to improve the way we service our customers, the way we communicate with our customers. So really a role that spans everything from media platforms to consumer payments. You know, how does Gap think about loyalty? I think a lot of people wonder how we got started and how this works. As you might know, Gap is actually a San Francisco-based company. Our offices are based in San Francisco and have been. The first store was in San Francisco and opened in 1969. Gap's loyalty efforts really started with one employee who put a computer underneath his desk, had a computer underneath his desk, and just as a side project started collecting customer transaction data. And this is clearly many, many years ago prior to the innovations in privacy, if you will, that have happened over the years. We started with email, and very quickly we launched, actually we started with a card program, as many retailers do. And that card program is a fantastic way for us to collect data about how our consumers are spending, because we can always detect when that card is being used. Over time, we folded in email. Direct mail was enabled by the fact that we had these addresses from these card members. And for many, many years, that's really been the foundation of how we manage customer loyalty, how we think about customer loyalty, how we measure lifetime value, how we do a wide variety of things. As we went digital and launched our .com websites, that's essentially the same platform that we've utilized over the years. Someone mentioned, we had a conversation yesterday about how do we define loyalty? Well, when you ask that question, how do we define loyalty? How did we define loyalty? It was really through the lens of the transaction. That was the piece of data that we collected. We collected exactly what they bought, but moreover, we just knew that they had bought something. As we launched a website, we started doing more digital advertising, and Gap Inc. has done and continues to have a number of digital efforts, starting with display advertising, traditional display advertising on the internet. It was very simple measurement. We started doing Facebook. That was probably 5-6 years ago. Over that time, since that time, we've done a lot of Facebook advertising. More recently, we've done a lot of content marketing. But the measurement of all of these things has been piecemeal. All of these have been driven as campaigns. And when we measure them in a campaign manner, we're just looking at the success of individual pieces of this. We're not necessarily looking at the total impact that it has to the customer's journey with us. So that's kind of the basis of where we're now starting to think about and how we're now starting to think about loyalty, and starting, first of all, with really thinking through what is loyalty to us and what are the drivers of loyalty that are really important. And we've discovered, particularly with the advent of intensely multi-channel behavior, where customers are now accessing our brands and experiencing our brands on a number of devices. So we look at how they use mobile phones, we look at how they use the internet, we look at how they come into our stores, and to really evaluate that customer experience and put that in a framework for loyalty, we have to start thinking about how they're accessing our websites, how they're accessing our brands, and thinking about engagement as a real metric for loyalty. And this is an engagement that we can measure. So how many pages deep are they going on our website? How much time are they spending? How many mobile visits are they making prior to coming into a store? One of the reasons I'm really interested in payments is it enables us to start to collect another type of data, another piece of data. So web behavior, we can do that. Web transaction, we can do that. Store transaction, we can do that. The next vanguard of loyalty measurement and loyalty building, and of course you need to collect this data in order to build programs that are effective, is to now look at behavior in our stores. So are people coming in and buying, or are they just coming in and looking? Are they searching for us prior to coming into a store? And really thinking about what is the platform, what are the pieces that we need to put together in the puzzle that allow us to really measure holistically all of this activity on a customer basis, and then use that data to message those customers in a very targeted, segmented way. And what occurs to me is that we're now reaching the level of sophistication in digital where we're actually going backwards in time to traditional direct marketing. So a lot of the tactics that we use now in digital marketing, segmentation, the use of third-party data, the intensive use of first-party data, this is all stuff that catalogers have been doing for years, that direct mail houses have been doing for years. So I think we're at a really exciting time now where we can use data and use techniques that have been tried and true over time and apply them to a vast new potential market where we can address customers on a number of devices at an ID level, using data that we've collected over time from both offline transactions as well as online transactions, offline behavior as well as online behavior. So a really fascinating new opportunity for us as marketers. And I think really for the next 2 days, you're going to be hearing from the best of the best in the industry in terms of what they're doing, how they're thinking about these technologies, how they're using them, and at the same time keeping the customer at the center of all of this. Because I like to remind people that the customer doesn't think of us as Gap.com. They don't think of us as a mobile app, they don't think of us as a store. They think of us as the Gap. The customer doesn't think about which channel they're using to browse us. They seamlessly go from one channel to another. And a lot of organizations, and ourselves included, have built these artificial walls based on how we choose to organize ourselves. So I think over the next couple of days, you're going to be hearing from people who've managed to break down these walls. And I think that one of the interesting pieces of dialogue continues to be, how do we break down these walls in our organizations? And think about the customer the way the customer thinks about us, as a seamless organization. And from our perspective, look at the customer's behavior as a seamless flow, before they make a purchase, after they make a purchase, as they're considering additional purchases, and how do we deliver the right message to that customer at the right time. Now I kind of want to change gears a little bit, because one of the reasons I love coming to events like iMedia is the folks in the room, the folks standing right in front of me. So I want you to all take a look around, because I think this is really important. And one of my memes, you are looking at the future CMOs of the United States right here, of the world, really. The technologies, the tactics that you guys are trying and using and having success with and having failure with are really the tactics that are going to define marketing for the next 50 years. I think it's interesting to see the mix of skills that you need today to be a successful digital marketer. Those are the skills that are going to mean success for marketers, for marketing in general. So a fluency that allows you to understand how a pixel collects data and at the same time understand the right message to deliver to a customer. This broad set of skills is really something that's very interesting. So for the next 2 days, swap business cards, meet these folks, meet your neighbors, ask them questions, ask them what's working, ask them what's not working, ask them what the pricing models are they're having with vendors. And I know the vendors don't want to hear this, but that's what we talk about. You have an incredible resource in this room amongst all of you, amongst all of us. So the next time you're wondering, should I do this? Look through that stack of business cards and you're going to find a bunch of really, really incredible answers. So I can't stress enough what a great opportunity it is and how honored I am to be in front of a room of really senior digital marketers. Another thing, let's talk about our sponsors. So I want to, first of all, again, thank the sponsors, but I want to encourage all of you to take the time to hug a sponsor later on today. And I've noticed that all the sponsors, and for some reason I always end up hanging out with the sponsors, all tend to congregate at the bar, and then all the marketers tend to congregate elsewhere. For God's sake, let the sponsor buy you a drink at the bar, okay? Let's keep the dialogue going. They are industry experts just like you. They've worked with lots of other clients. They'll bring a point of view, but you have a point of view also. But there's a lot to learn from everyone here. So please take advantage of that opportunity. With that, I would like to extend a warm Gangnam-style welcome to Julia Fitzgerald, who's the Chief Digital Engagement Officer and CMO at Sears.